Anyways, let's get our acceleration here. Torquey! Hey everyone, it's Ben Hardy here, and in today's video, I'm going to be going over a 2022 Ford Ranger Tremor. First and foremost, so a huge shout out and thank you to the Lariat Tremor Ford Lincoln here in Provo for giving me some time with the Ranger. Check out the inventory in the description down below. Let's get into the video. So under the hood, we have a turbocharged 2.3 liter 4-cylinder that goes through a 10-speed automatic transmission. Fuel economy is 19 around town and then 19 on the highway, with power outputs being 270 horsepower and then 310 pound-feet of torque. Now let's go over the front end of the Ranger Tremor. So first off, I absolutely love the color on this because it's just like perfect. Like when I think of a Tremor, I think of this color for some reason. I don't know why. Anyways, you guys can see the LED accent lights with the projector bulb so bright, completely like blacking out the camera pretty much, as you guys can see. Anyways, notice how we've got the accenting here as part of the Tremor package. You got the Ford logo there on the center, and you can see you've got parking sensors here on the front bumper. We also have the fog lights as well, tow hooks on top of that, and then you got some skid plate action underneath. And yeah, overall, it's a really good looking truck from a front end perspective. Now coming around the side here, we've got two 65mm tires wrapped on 17-inch wheels in the front and over in the rear as well. And you guys can see with the wheels, they're dark metallic gray. I think that looks really good. And then we have these more aggressive off-road tires, because again, it's the Tremor package. And then the truck is slightly lifted over a regular Ranger, so you guys can kind of see it with the front suspension. We have the metallic gray fender flares. Now it's got the Ranger Lariat badge here on the side, and then you can see with the two-tone design in the mirrors. Body painted door handles, and then we have the side steps that double as rock rails, which is pretty cool. Tremor sticker there on the back, and then you can see that the Ranger still utilizes leaf springs here in the rear. And if we take a few steps back, you can see the full side profile of the truck. So here's our key fob for the Tremor. We have our unlock, lock, and remote start function. Got the Ford logo there on the back, and we'll pop here into the rear. For some reason, the camera doesn't want to focus. Anyways, we have a payload capacity of 1,475 pounds here with the Tremor. This one doesn't have bed liner, but it's easy to add. Notice that the cargo light is an LED light, which is pretty cool. And you guys can kind of see the whole setup here in the back. Now, as for the tailgate, it is not dampened, so you do have to lower it down yourself, just like the new Ford Maverick. So just be aware of that. And now we can kind of finish things up here with the rear. So I got to pop the lights back on for you guys. You can see the taillights here. I love the design on them. And then again, we've got parking sensors here all along the bottom. We got the receiver hitch just down below. Got the exhaust tip poking out the side, and then the spare tire. And yeah, that's the rear. Now here's the door panel on the back of the Tremor. Notice we've got the padding here at the stitching where you're going to rest your arm, and then just up above we've got our door lock and unlock for the rear passenger, which is pretty cool. And then we've got the Tremor specific seats. You've got the leather here at the stitching here at the top, and then you guys can see you've got the inserts here on the seats. Definitely a cool look. And I'll move the floor mats over so you can see it's on the bottom portion of the seat as well. And then notice how you've got the leather there in the center, and side steps actually make getting in and out pretty easy. Legroom. And then also headroom as well. And then you guys can see here a little bit of extra storage space in this area. And then there's a bunch of charging ports down below, but you can't see it because it's kind of low light right now. Got some cup holders in an armrest type situation. And let's head to the front. Now here's the door panel at the front. You guys can see the padding, and then down below with the stitching, got all of our window controls right here with the door handle, door lock and unlock. And then you can see the mirrors with blind spot monitoring. And here are the front seats. So you can see it says Tremor on it, and then you guys can see here in the center with the inserts and the leather. Seats are power adjustable. Got the pedal layout just down below with the hood latch release. We have our light control right here with the fog lights. The steering wheel is manually adjustable. We got our mirror adjustments right there. And there's where we'll look before we pop in. So here is the steering wheel in the Tremor. You guys can see here, leather wrap steering wheel with the contrasted stitching. Controls for one side of the center stack. We've got our voice command volume controls down below. It does have adaptive cruise control, and then controls for the other side of the center stack. We have our turn signal stock. We have our windshield wiper stock, and that's all for the steering wheel. Now here is the center gauge cluster. So you've got the media side of the gauge cluster, speed in the center, and then you have the performance truck side. This basically just shows you different bits of vehicle information. And we have our TM mode. So we've got our normal, grass, gravel, snow, mud, ruts, and then we have our sand mode that you can go between from a drive mode perspective, which is pretty cool. And yeah, overall, nice little setup right there. And then as for the stability control, you can see you can turn that off. And then I don't think, yeah, it doesn't have sport traction like on the heavy duties. But anyways, there you go. So before we get into the infotainment system, we have the auxiliary switches, which are all right here. Pretty cool setup here with the Tremor package. You can add tons of light bars and everything. Notice the stitching on the dash. Now down the infotainment system, you can see you've got a backup camera with trajectory lines that do turn with the steering wheel, and got a zoom function there on the camera as well, which is definitely nice. As for the rest of the infotainment system, response time with the screen is actually really good. You guys can see that, and even though it has, you know, the film over it, and then we've got different ambient lighting colors. We're going to do red because, well, it's a Tremor package, right? That's the one to choose. Going over the climate controls, you can see dual zone climate here for the Tremor as well. And yeah, that's all for the center screen. Now down below here, we've got the analog controls here for the radio, and then we've got the dual zone climate controls, heated seats here for the front passengers, and then a couple 12 volts, and then some USBs down there. And then you guys can see here, we've got like our off-road cruise control, tow haul mode, parking sensors, auto stop start. We've got the rear locker stability control, and then you've got a drive line select with your TM, which is your terrain mode select. And notice we've got the shifter for that 10-speed automatic. It does have a manual shift function, and it's got the S for the sport mode. Got the brake, couple of cup holders, and then we've got the center console here. Notice the padding there on the top. And then got leg glove box, says Ranger right there. And then I've got the lights on here on the top so you guys can actually see at the top. But if you're wondering, you can't open the rear window. It's just manual with the operation. Now I've got the window sticker here for the Ranger Tremor. Again, you guys can see 2022, and feel free to freeze the frame if you want to read all of the standard equipment. And I wasn't lying about the fuel economy. And then you guys can see optional, well, tons of glare, so it's hard to see the optional equipment. But anyways, this one's pretty loaded up. $47,335 is the total MSRP before any type of market adjustment. And let's take it out and see how it drives. Well, let's talk about visibility before we set off. Got visibility of the hood, both of the mirrors, and throughout the rest of the rear. And let's set off. So we are setting off here in the Tremor. And you guys know I had one of these for the week, and it was an absolute blast. But, you know, we always got to review the new model year to see if anything has changed at all. And first thing I want to mention is I love the seats in the Tremor. They're so comfortable. They've got really good padding. But on top of having really good padding, and also, I don't think you need those marker lights, sir. Tundra putting on marker lights just for style. But yeah, the padding's really good with the truck, which is just a huge positive. Torquey. That 2.3 liter is torquey. It's such a strong powertrain. But another thing I like about just the Ranger platform in general is just how good it is at dampening. Right, when you go over bumps and everything, it stays so nice and planted, even though it has leaf springs. And you also don't feel the bumps all that much, which is great. This really does kind of feel like a baby Raptor, kind of, from a dampening perspective. It doesn't have the wheel travel, doesn't have the tire, doesn't have all that fun stuff, but it's actually pretty good. You guys can see, yeah, tons of torque. We'll pop into the S mode. It's kind of like your sport mode, right? Yeah, love the steering. That's a big positive as well. It's very direct for a truck. It's exactly what you want with an off-road truck like this. And brakes too. Brakes are nice. Yeah, coming up to a stop here. And yeah, the other thing about these seats is they've got, they're not super tight with the bolstering, so you could be a bigger person and still fit in them. But they do kind of hold you in place a bit, which is definitely another nice positive with the Tremor. And man, I thought there wouldn't be traffic at this time of day, but there's still traffic. Welcome to Provo, folks. But anyways, let's get our acceleration here. Torquey. The Ranger is one torquey boy, as they say. Yeah, so it's really good from an acceleration standpoint for a mid-sized truck. This actually feels powerful. Most mid-sized trucks, you just put up with it, right? This, on the other hand, it actually moves, and that's a big positive with the Ranger and obviously with the Tremor package. So let's get into setting things up here with the Tremor. First off, exterior wise, really good looking. The off-road tires definitely add to the aggressive aesthetic. Interior wise, I love the interior on the Tremor. Definitely brings things up. And then obviously, I took one of these off-road. It is so capable. I went off-road with a Tacoma that had 35s, I believe. 33s or 35s, one of the two, but huge tires for a Tacoma. I think it was 30. You know, we're gonna go with 35s. I'm pretty sure it's 35s. I can check with Dex later. And this thing was keeping up with it from a crawling perspective. Like, there was areas where the Tacoma was bottoming out and this thing wasn't. So yeah, this truck is amazing off-road. It's great on-road. And so if you're looking for a fun, affordable off-roader, the Tremor package gives you that. And the Ranger is just a great platform. Obviously, it'll be exciting to see when they bring out the new Ranger, but this version of the Ranger is great. That's gonna sum things up for our video on this 2022 Ford Ranger Tremor. Again, a huge shout out and thank you to the Lariat Tremor Ford Lincoln here in Provo for giving me some time with the Tremor. Check out the inventory in the description down below. I'll see you guys.